All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. James here, your ABX audiophile. I appreciate all of you showing up today and hanging out with us. I hope you enjoyed our Focal review of the 806 Choras. Great sounding speaker. Didn't quite work out for us. If you haven't watched that video, check it out. It's my last one. Other than that, appreciate you guys being here. If you've been watching some of the shorts as well as the community post, you would know that we have been waiting for the Schiit Freya Plus, and we finally got that in, I believe, Friday afternoon. It showed up. I paid expedited shipping. I think it was like $1,149 or something new with the matching tubes that you can see right here. You can get it in a bunch of different formats, no tubes. You can get the solid stage inserts depending on kind of what your thing is. I went and got the matched pair of the JJs. So that's what you see here. They send you 4 of them matched. And then I paid, I don't know, I think it was maybe like $100 or something for expedited shipping, and I got it within like 2 days. They build them in California and Texas. I don't know if you guys are aware. Probably most of you watching are aware of the brand. Good American-made company. Anyway, we got that in Friday. I've got about probably 20 hours of listening time into the actual preamp. It is paired, or at least in my situation, it's paired with a brand new Emotiva XPA-1. It's the Gen 3. It's basically their Class H amplifier, slash AB, however you want to kind of look at it. And so we had that. On the digital side, again, we were running through the Blues Node 2i with Qobuz, Neil Young Archives, Spotify, Radio Paradise, a bunch of other stuff. We had the Emotiva ERC-3 transport that we ran some CDs through. On the analog side, we've got the Project Debut with the Audiophile Blue cartridge. I've got the thanks to Cheap Audio Man, shout out, check him out. The Fozzy Phono Box 2 phono stage, little preamplifier, little tube preamplifier. And so that was kind of our rundown of equipment, and we replaced the Emotiva PT100 preamp that I've had for probably 3 or 4 years with the Schiit Freya. And so this is kind of my first step into a tube preamplifier. So that being said, the speakers were a pair of 2007 B&W 604 Series 3 made in England. Last year they were actually made in England before they shipped it all over to China. So the 600 series, one of the best 600 series I think B&W ever produced, but I could be a little bit biased because I own them. We also ran them through the Emotiva T2, the original T2s, and I was really hoping to run them through the Focal Cora 806s, but unfortunately, they took a shit on us and we weren't able to we had to send them back before we got this in. So anyway, that being said, let's cover a couple minor housekeeping issues. If you guys haven't checked me out on Instagram, check me out at the official ABX audiophile on Instagram. I post a bunch of cool shorts there. You can kind of get ideas of what's coming in, what we're looking forward to. I'll have links to that in the chat. Also, hit that like and subscribe button down there in the corner. You'll see it should be, let me get my camera right about here somewhere. Take the red pill, subscribe, hit that deal, share all of our content. We're just all about budget, best bang for buck kind of gear. We're getting into a little bit more kind of high-end stuff. This is probably some of this, and the Emotiva are probably some of the more high-end stuff that we've had, but we're really kind of a budget-based channel, so that's what we do. And then we just started a brand new Discord, and I'm telling you, this thing is blowing up. We have a bunch of great, really phenomenal individuals in that Discord, and that just bring absolute value. We've got up and coming deals and gears, Best Buys in there. We've got all kinds of discussions on tubes and solid states and home theater and 2-channel listening. And, I only started it about 5 days ago, but I tell you what, we got about 20 plus members in there now. and it is just a lively and engaging space. A lot of good conversation and dialogue going on in there. So if you haven't checked out our Discord, links to it will be below. Oh, there it is right there. I just got a notification. Hey, somebody asked you a question on your Discord. So anyway, back to the Freya. So this is the unit right here. You can see it. Very slim, thin design. A little bit smaller than I thought it was going to be, but I like it. It's kind of low profile and minimalist. You can see the tube inserts there. These are, again, just the 4 stock JJ tubes that come with it. This tube configuration, in my opinion, and as well as kind of to confirm that and watching some other reviewers, a very clean tube sound. This is not going to give you that ultra warm, velvety, wrap you in a blanket, tube vibe. So if you're looking for that, this is a good platform to step into that. This is an amazing preamplifier, and we'll talk about it. But the tubes that come with it are not going to give you that. So you might want to look at some Sylvanias or some other stuff. There's a bunch of reviews on tube rolling and kind of what tubes to pair with it. So check out some of those. I'll post some of those in my community. If you go to my YouTube page on my community, you can see. We're probably going to check out some Sylvanias in the gain stage and make some differences. Your gain stage is right here. Your buffer stage is over here. So depending on how you change your tubes, you don't have to change all 4. As long as you get a matched set for each stage, you're fine. So if you want to change these 2, you can take these 2 out and get a matched set and put that in there, and vice versa. So don't be afraid. This is a really cool platform to step into and do some tube rolling. There's all kinds of tubes available on eBay and Craigslist, Marketplace. There's all kinds of stuff where you can find cheap tubes for 20, 30, 40 bucks. For a match set. Check them out, swap them in and out, have a fun time with that. I think that's really what I'm excited about with this thing. On the front, as most other reviewers have said, there's a lot of reviews on this thing, but this is just my take. This is kind of your mode selector right here. So you've got your passive mode, which is basically nothing but a preamp. Whatever signal you're sending in, it's going to send out to your amplifier. So it's just very... to me, it was just very accurate, very clean, but again, it's going to be all dependent on the source material, your DAC, whatever you're using the preamp is literally the sound you're going to get. There's no coloration added. Then if you click this button, you go into the buffered mode, which to me is kind of like reminded me a little bit of the PT100, a little bit more meaty, a little bit more thick, a little bit more, what you would expect from a preamp doing something to the source signal coming in. I really didn't like either of the modes. They're not bad. It just wasn't what I was looking for. I mean, if I wanted that, I would have just got a solid state preamp. And so when you click to the third mode, that activates the tubes, and now you're into your tube preamp mode. So that is kind of a cool setup there. Once you go into that tube mode, the music's actually going to shut off for maybe 30, 40 seconds before the tubes warm up and everything kind of gets to temperature, and then it'll kick on. So if you get this thing and you switch to that tube mode and it goes quiet, you're like, oh my God, don't think that you broke it, because that's just the process. But so that's the case there. It does have a very nice remote. My dumbass forgot it downstairs, but it's a beautiful little machined aluminum remote. Really, really robust. It's really cool. It's magnetic, so you can just click it to the side of your amplifier or one of your components in your system, so you'll never lose it. Bleep, just clicks right on. Super cool. It's got the volume knob. It's got a pentatometer. I don't know. I always brain fart on that word. But anyway, the volume switch is like disconnected from the signal. So when you turn the volume up and down, it's actually mechanical. And so when you click the remote, this thing will actually turn, and it kind of makes a clicking sound. But that's the way it's supposed to be. So don't freak out about that. And after a couple uses, you totally forget about that. So let's see. So that's the front face. Build quality. This thing, I don't know if you can see it, but look how thick that is. Look how thick that aluminum is. I mean, this thing is, I don't remember what the weight is, but this probably weighs 3 times as much as my PT100, my Emotiva PT100 that we came from. So all steel construction. The thing is just beast mode. On the back panel here, you can see, try to get the right angle for you guys. Here's your power switch. There's not a power switch on the remote controller, the front. So literally to turn it on and off is back here, but it's a nice, robust feeling toggle switch, and it's kind of profiled out. If you can see it, it sticks out a little bit. So it works really good, makes a nice audible noise. The plug is really robust, fits in, everything's tight there. All of your RCA connectors are really cool. You've got a whole array here of inputs. So you've got you've got 2 balanced inputs. So if you have some other components that run a fully, truly balanced XLR cable, you got that there. Then you get into your RCA inputs here, so you can choose from 3. So there's 5 inputs that you could be using for this. And then, of course, you have your fully balanced XLR outputs, which I use these to run to the Emotiva XPA. And then you have your standard RCA outputs here. Very, very basic. You're not going to see anything digital in this thing. This is a really purist preamp. Really not a lot of bells and whistles. You just kind of get what you get there. So, again, that's the back panel. The top, like I said, you can see the tubes there. You get a little bit of orange glow in the board that they use. There's some little orange LED lights that kind of come on that give you a little ambiance. I don't know if that's necessarily their purpose, but you'll see that. And then, of course, the tube glow is really cool. So that's the build on this. I was super, super surprised at the build quality of this unit. Really happy with it. So as far as sound quality, what does it sound like? So like I said, the passive mode is just real clean, real simple. I spent maybe 10 minutes listening to that. I just wasn't into it. Like I said, I don't even know why they have it. I mean, if you're going to build a full tube preamp, I'd just build a tube preamp. But I like that they have the option. Like I said, the buffered mode was, standard issue. It wasn't anything spectacular. It kind of reminded me of the Emotiva PT100 or most other preamps that I've had, just a very neutral sound, not really adding or taking anything away from the source material or kind of whatever you're sending into it. And it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. Tube mode, once you hit those tubes on, the sound stage, it's just, of course you get it like a 12 dB gain, so you got to kind of dB match when you're comparing the two. You got to turn it down quite a bit. But for me, when I switched it over to the tube mode, it was just like, it was so beautiful and blooming, and like the sound stage instantly just, 3-4 feet wider, a foot or two taller. The depth was intense. I listened to My Bass by, let me see, I'll pull it up right now. I can't remember. I have to pull it up. Brian Bromberg. If you go to one of your favorite streaming service, Brian Bromberg, and listen to his track called My Bass. That's the first one that I played. And I cranked this thing up to I don't know, it was probably 60, 70, maybe even 80% of its capacity. And I had to have been at 100 plus dB and played that song. And it was just the plucking of the strings, the realness, the sound, the vibe. It was just mind-boggling. And then we played Tool, the chocolate, whatever one that they have. What's the name of that darn song? I can't remember. Let me look it up here. Hold on. I got to tell you guys what it was, because it's there. So those are the two kind of that I used. Chocolate Chip Trip by Tool. If you have not listened to Chocolate Chip Trip, I'm dyslexic. The sound stage on that, the width, that song specifically from Tool, Chocolate Chip Trip, is absolutely insane. And when it starts panning left and right, you can literally switch to passive mode, and you can hear that soundstage go and it just drops off significantly. And then you play that same track again and you put it to tube mode, because you can close your eyes. You know how you close your eyes and you can kind of see or visualize the edges of the soundstage, based on your song. When you're in that tube mode, it's at least 2-3 feet more. I mean, it's just insane, and the depth of it and the realism. But the nice thing about the JJs that I found, and verified by other reviewers as well. I did a lot of research on this guy. Really clean. I didn't feel like you lost a lot of accuracy. I didn't feel like all of a sudden when I switched to tube mode that I was in this like soupy, molassesy mess of warm, chocolatey overtones and swimming in, whatever. That was not the case. It is a very, very clean signature. That's really forward, and I really enjoyed it. I'm actually looking forward. I was hoping that it would be a little bit warmer than it is, because that's kind of my vibe. I like the old school tubey vibe, right? So I'm actually looking forward to doing some tube rolling in this guy. I'm super excited about it. But that was kind of the sound signature and the sound experience for me, probably in my mind. And my experience is limited with tube preamps, but this is probably the best preamp that I've ever had. And I understand that I have new buyers bias, and I spent a bunch of money on it bias and stuff like that. So of course it's going to sound fantastic to me. But I promise you, I put a good 20 solid hours over 2 days just auditioning this. And if you were on my Discord, you would know that's true, because I posted every 10 minutes about what song I was listening to, what I was thinking at the time. So they got a really good insight to the review. But anyway, in closing, I have no regrets of purchasing this. This preamp will stay in my system. I will be hard pressed to move to anything else, at least in the near future that I can feel. It totally blows the Emotiva PT100 preamp out of the water. It brings all of the same stuff that the Emotiva does. The only thing that you lack is some of that digital interface, the inputs and stuff like that some of those more modern style or geared towards more modern of a setup are going to bring. Some other preamps are probably going to give you some of those options, and maybe that's what you want. That's not what I do. I don't. I have a nice external DAC, and I have a nice phono stage, and I have all of that stuff. So I don't need my preamp to do all of this other stuff for me. So overall, I give this thing a 9 out of 10, and I think you'd be hard pressed to beat it for the money. I think a lot of the reviews that I watched, a lot of the people that I talked to that I had this, there's people in the Discord who have had this unit agree. And if you're a tube individual or you want to get into tubes, I think the preamp is the best way to start. Talking with Paul over at PS Audio a couple times, I really like when he said that a tube preamp and a solid state amp is literally the holy grail. I mean, that is the best of the best blending, because you get that just performance and accuracy and of the solid state amp, but you get this ability and tonality of the tube preamp. And after experiencing the last 20 hours of listening that I did, I agree. It's probably the best I've ever heard my system sound. And we're going to keep reviewing it. I'll come back and visit you guys about it. And but if you're looking at something like that, go onto the Schiit Audio website. It's the Freya Plus, with the matching JJ tubes. I think that's all I got. I don't think I have anything else on it. What else did I want to say about it? I don't know. But if you got any thoughts or comments, or if you got some tube ideas for me, if you got some ideas on how I should be rolling these tubes, or what your thoughts on this unit were, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, please put it in the comment section down below. Make sure you check me out on Instagram. Make sure you hit that subscribe button there in the bottom corner, and take that red pill, and check out our Discord, man. We have a really good time over there, really good group of folks, and I hope y'all have a fantastic day. And that is the Schiit Freya. Great unit. I love it. I'm in love. I kind of got like, I love you, Freya. All right, you guys have a great day. Appreciate you being here, and don't forget, listen to your music however you want. Don't let anybody tell you anything different, and have a good day.